New week, new video, and this one is going to show you maybe the most important thing about pitching ever. Now, in the past 15 years, I've held hundreds of pitch trainings, worked on thousands of pitches, and one of the things I always have to discuss is tell you, like you founders to be out there, that it's not always about having the best product, that it's not always about telling people that's the most exciting features, but rather about, talking a bit product and then business, execution, numbers behind it. And this discussion is one I've had hundreds of times, and probably one where you go like, yeah, but here's the promise. Over the next couple of minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why it makes all the difference in the world to have perfect sales, perfect execution, and you can literally sell any piece of crap product. You can sell crap if you have an amazing business model around it. So lean back and take a look. Now you might say, Daniel, that's a bit harsh saying that about a founder about whom you know nothing. Well, it's actually in the title of the video I'm reacting to. It's called Something Entrepreneur Making Millions Selling Crap. So I thought this is interesting. We've got Mark. No, there. We've got Mark lined up smiling happily. Now, without any further ado, let's get our entrepreneur in and yeah, we'll see for yourself. Let's go.
Hi, Sharks. My name is Charlotte Trecarton. I'm from the beautiful city of Chicago, and I'm here seeking $300,000 for 10% of my company, Char Charms. Sharks, I want to introduce you to someone very special that goes everywhere with me. We go to work together, we go to the gym together, and heck, I even bring her to get my nails done with me. Oh, you think I'm talking about my best friend? Silly Sharks. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's important, but not as important as this gal. My water bottle. She's...
Yeah. I mean, we are in times where you have to be somewhat politically correct and whatnot. But that was a bit over the top, wasn't it? I mean, this is like a walking cliche. Like do you remember that movie Naturally Blonde or something like that? And where all these like cheerleader types that are absolutely like whacked out of their heads kind of come along. She seems like that, like the voice pitch and everything. I mean, she could be a character on Saturday Night Live for like a cheerleader, sorority leader or something like that. But apparently she's real. Later on, you see she's one hell of an entrepreneur. But this is an entry and I think her voice has a frequency that's a little on the unpleasant side. But that could just be me. That's probably she was born that way. But I think maybe because of the excitement and the way she's kind of pitching her voice, it's kind of up there. I wouldn't have thought that her best friend is her water bottle. I mean, here's my water bottle. Our friendship lasts until it's empty. And that's it. Although I do believe in steady relationships, my water bottle is not my best friend. If someone would say her best friend is her water bottle, I would think she might be a little shallow. But then again, who am I to judge? It's if it works for her, yeah. Let's just look in. Turns out it's actually not a water bottle she's pitching. She does something more intricate than water bottles. But let's see for yourself. There we go.
And colorful way to accessorize your water bottle, no matter what shape, size, or color. It all started with our dishwasher-safe stick-on-hook and charms. We created bottle boots to protect her bottom from dents and scratches. straw toppers to keep out dust and dirt, and little zipped pouches so she can carry all of your essentials.
Yeah, I'm just gonna jump in there. I think I've kind of, it's not my cup of tea, but I do understand there is a target market for that, probably. All jokes aside, look, if it works, it works. It's probably something I'm not naturally attracted to putting stuff on my water bottle because it's a water bottle. It's functional. My son, who's 4, has like a couple of water bottles for kindergarten, and he smashes the living daylight out of it. So that wouldn't work either. But I mean, I'm always open for new products. Like if someone comes in with an spaced out water bottle with a bunch of accessories and actually spend money for that, I'm open for that. Tell me more about your life and your life decisions. But then again, look, it's a niche. It's a cool niche. So let's go for it. But I'm curious to see how the sharks react to that. Because, well, I'm not necessarily blown away by the brilliance of this thing. But then again, here's the thing. You may have noticed my skepticism, but the point is you don't always need to build rockets. There's one company I always deeply admire, and that's a company called BIC. You know, BIC, BIC. They are not the inventors of the pen. They are not the inventors of the razor, and they're not the inventors of the firelighter. Yet they have found a very simplistic way to make a former high-end product highly accessible to a large audience by simplifying it and by making it a throwaway product at the end of the day. And, you know, sometimes the value of a product is not in its actual face value, but in its usage or its availability, or maybe also in its way to distinguish yourself from others. And this is where this product gets really interesting, because if you think back, and I just kind of started off intentionally kind of being a little provocative on this. If you think about your phones, for example, like you all probably like myself, I mean, I have an iPhone here. All these phones are the same when they're delivered. And then we start putting accessories on them, but not like on them, but in them. Apps, right? Your mobile apps. And think about it that way. Think about how highly individual your phone gets by that. And now think back to the early days, the older ones of you, like at the beginning of the 2012, 13, 14s, what kind of crap apps there were, and people spending money on burp apps. Yeah, and some of you might go like, yeah, the Whip app you may have seen on, what's the name of the show? Oh, I can't think of it. He had the Nerds, the marvelous show, The Nerds. Oh, that all work at the Technical University. Big Bang Theory. That's right. And even they buy a whip. So, and now you see that this product is suddenly getting interested. Anyhow, so she kind of starts talking a little bit more about her bottle itself. But let's see what some of the sharks say about it.
How is it that Char Charms is different than any of the other crap?
So we were the ones that created the stick-on hooks and charms. There was nothing like that out there. So
that was a good question. He's saying, like, how is it different to the others? And she starts talking about it, and it's actually not that much of a way to distinguish it. Yes, good. But then it gets even more interesting. So let me just fast forward a bit, because they've been kind of talking about the product itself, going forth and going back. And obviously, if you want to see that, I've got the link below to the full video. Let's just put my in-ear in there. So you can see that down here somewhere, including a link to my book. There. 15 years of pitching, put in a book on 170 pages, but you have to speak German, weil das Buch ist auf Deutsch. Yep, ist nur in Deutsch rausgekommen. See, because I also speak German. So it's only been published in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, as of shortly. But yeah, it might be a great opportunity to learn German. You're thinking, why German? Because I'm the former host of the Austrian version of Shark's Tank, and that's kind of like my stomping ground for the last couple of years. But you know, might come out in English sooner or later. You never know. Anyway, back to this, because they're going forwards and backwards, bump, 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 bump. And here is the question in pitching for me.
Sir.
Yeah.
Never mind my skepticism. What are your sales?
Absolutely. Our first full year was 2022. We did $80,000 in sales.
Okay.
2023, we did $250,000 in sales.
Yeah.
This year to date, we're at $6 million.
Whoa!
Wait a minute. Yes.
And did you see that? Did you see that? Did you see the body language, the way they respond? Like, it was 80, 250, 6 million. Kind of this progression, boom. But the funny thing is, for me, before that, and again, I'm very much a believer in great storytelling and all of that. I might do a separate video on that one day. But the point being is, sales, aka traction, is external validation. You can sell literal crap, and all of the Sharks of have testified, hey, your product is actual crap, and it's just like stuff you stick on water bottles and whatnot. And I also kind of overdid it a couple minutes ago. But let's be honest, it's not rocket science. It's not something spectacular. It's something you've seen everywhere. It's just like plastic from China or Temu or whatever you want to call it, which you stick on a water bottle. Yet, this lady, Charlotte, has established a niche, a market. She's tested it, and she's proven that it works, and she's taken it from, what was that? 60K, 250K, 6 million, and all of the Sharks are like, boom, damn girl, because she's proven she has been able to establish a business. And that's what this whole thing is about. None of them is there to kind of help her live her big vision and mission, blah, blah, blah crap. But it's all about understanding, can these people develop a business? Do they have the business acumen? Because it's about entrepreneurship, having an idea, having something, doing something, discovering a problem, discovering a niche, and then building a company that can solve that. And that's something in pitching you should never forget. If you're unsure, if you want to talk more product, no. If you have a 3-minute pitch, spend, 5 seconds on the intro, spend 10 seconds explaining the problem, and then tell us roughly about the solution for the next 30, 40 seconds max. And not kind of like in detail why it works, but just simply how it works for me. So if it's an app, you don't give us the architecture of the technology, but you just say you press this button, that button, and boom. That's what people want to know. If they want to know more, they're going to ask. And then you tell us about the mechanics of the business. Tell us, we're in this phase. These are the next major steps we want to go. And this is the money we're raising today to make the next step work. So give us an understanding why you're there. Often you're on these TV shows, and you mustn't forget it is a TV show. The people walk in and say, hi, my name's Charlotte. I'm looking for 300K for 10%. Yes, but you don't do that on real stages. You do that because this is a television show. Obviously, this is needed. This is like the opener. This is like the way this whole thing is being constructed. But in reality, you wouldn't be doing this. However, this is the ask. This is what you want to have, and this is what you want to achieve. And then you start presenting and negotiating. But we just established that this is a real business. And now all of them get excited. They start asking specific questions about the business. I'll jump forward again a bit because of copyright issues, because Sony says you can't use all of the material, which would be fun, but I can't. But we'll jump forward to the next point. So they've been grilling her in the business and getting to the intricacies. And there was one question like tell us about like what kind of margins do you have? And Charlotte goes into the nitty gritty. Watch this. And by the way, this is so important. Always know your numbers. Huge mistake is not knowing your numbers. Like if you go into Dragon's Den, Shark's Tank, or any pitch competition, or just talking to investors, and you don't know your numbers, don't do it. Don't go in there. You need to know your numbers. Like this true entrepreneur also shows you. So listen into this.
And then our cost of goods is anywhere between $1 to $2.
You're going to make like multiple millions of dollars in profits this year.
Correct.
Ich war 26 Jahre alt und pleite. Und das hatte einen einfachen, aber fatalen Grund. Ich habe...
You want to switch places?
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Boy,
Why
you know.
do you need us? I mean, you look like you've got a really profitable business.
I'm here because I'm looking for a partner to not even invest in Char Charms, but invest in me to help me grow this business into the next billion-dollar accessory company.
And here I want to jump in because we've just had a lot happen. Number one, they've established she doesn't just have a business, but she's got a highly profitable business. Number two, they've established that she's making multiple millions in this very year. Huge profits. She's basically a one-woman business and a couple people she hires. So this is exceptional entrepreneurship ability. And then they ask the question, why are you here today? Look at Damon's face, by the way. This is a good moment where I've got it. He's got like, oh, brother, here we go again. But the point is, why are you here today? And she kind of goes on to answer. But the interesting thing is, and I was reading some of the comments as well, and this is something I see a lot, and I've also advised startups on doing so, going into these shows. I'm pretty sure she's not really there seeking the next big invest, but she's there seeking maybe a soulmate, like this one person with whom she really clicks. This sometimes happens, you know, where they really get on exceptionally well. There's a great pitch I looked at where Stephen Bartlett and Joao, I've forgotten his surname, they instantly bond, click, boom, and they just work so well together. I have a reaction video and it'll pop up somewhere there. I hope, if I find it. If not, just please look for it. Sorry about that. I'm always very limited time for these videos. So I do all of this in one shot, by the way. So if you're listening in going, oh, that's not bad, dude. And by the way, I've had to pause it twice because my 3-month-old daughter woke up. And you're like, okay, how does that work? She's over there, like next door. And my wife is 3 rooms further with our 4-year-old son. That's why I actually asked for the scratch here, because my 4-year-old son has a lot of energy. So I do them in one take. But that's authentic, right? So anyway, going back to this, very often it's free advertising. You are on a big national TV show and you have the chance to present your product. And I think that's perfectly fine if you know how to handle yourself. Because if you made offers that you can't refuse and you do refuse them, you end up coming out really badly. You have to go in with your head held high and not make an offer that's absolutely nuts. Like, I'm looking for $1 billion for 1%, where people are like, well, what the F is wrong with you? But you need to, play that fine line. What's even more important is, and that's something most get wrong the first time, is when you go into this show and you're recording it, let's say in November, well, don't pitch the company in November, but pitch for the day or the week or the month where it's going to be released. So this might be released 6, 7, 8 months later. So what you have to do is, when you're presenting this, is present your company, at least for the TV audience, in a way your company is going to be in 5, 6, 7 months. And then also understand that if you really make a splash, that your service, that your company can hold up with that instant surge in demand if things goes well. So I'm pretty sure she's there because, she has a very simple product that can be explained easily, and I bet she's got her website ready and firing for the day she's presenting. And then one thing is even more important. It's not just about getting the deal, but if you are gunning for this free advertisement, it's even more important that you come across likable, because you buy these products in many cases because you think that people are likable. You like them. And again, I don't think it's a bad thing to do this. I think some of the sharks go like, well, why are you wasting our time? But to be honest, it's a fair element. It's a fair element of that. So they start going forwards and backwards again. So I'm gonna leave you to that, and we'll jump forward to the next exciting point, and this is a good one.
I want to get this into Walmart for the holiday. We're a little late.
What distributor do you use?
I'm not saying, but I'm telling you
he's just
now.
using a distributor
Here's my
that
offer.
everybody
I'm going
else
to give you the $300,000. I want 25%.
You were like, this is crap.
It is
now
crap.
you love it.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah,
you know what? I'll tell you something,
He's
Charlotte.
like, show me the money.
It's my kind of crap.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening. This is so much fun. Kevin said initially, hey, this is crap, this is rubbish, no one needs this. And now he's actually making an offer. Why? Because he knows he could be investing in, he doesn't care in what. He's investing in a great entrepreneur with a great track record and amazing sales to back it. He's investing in a business opportunity. And that's what you need to understand. He's investing in a business opportunity, going from this is crap to let's bring this to Walmart in a couple minutes. This is spectacular. He does want a high stake, so that's fair enough. And Charlotte goes like, okay, understand. Let's see if there's counter offers. And in fact, there are. So let's find that out. So here's the counter offer.
I'll go 300,000 for 20%. I think that this is a big licensing play.
Thank you so much for that offer. I'd love to see if anyone else has
Look,
any
Charlotte,
thoughts.
I adore you.
Thank
I
you.
think you're amazing.
Jumping in here again. Turns out there's no other counter offers. So they kind of go forwards and backwards negotiating 25%. No, I'll give you 20% and so on. And then the inevitable happens because I think Charlotte has a number in her mind, but see for yourself.
Understand. Well, I appreciate all your offers. Unfortunately, I can't go lower than 15, so
Good for you.
thank you so
Charlotte.
much.
Congrats.
It was great meeting you
Good
all.
for you.
Congratulations on your
Congratulations.
business.
Thank you.
Great
job.
job.
And here's the thing. I think it was a great job. So basically she's given offers and she doesn't crumble under the pressure. She doesn't think, ooh, I got to take this offer now because it's a TV show or whatnot. But she listens to all of the offers. She knows where she wants to be and where she doesn't want to be. And she then friendly declines them. And this is also the part where you can lose a lot of users, viewers, who might buy your product if you don't go out in a charming and nice way. And she does it really well. She says it friendly. One of the last words is, well done. And she's done well because for me, she's achieved what she needed to do. She went in there, she presented a product, she presented it to a broad audience. She showed that she is an excellent entrepreneur, has great negotiating skills and knows what her, let's say, areas in which she can negotiate. She was probably in there for somewhere 10, 12%. I think 12.5 is what she wanted. She was offered 20 and then 17.5. And she said, no, that's not as far as I want to go. So thank you very much for all of that, and walked out with a head high. Curious, how would you have ended that? I'll end it here. It was a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and all of that stuff. Anyhow, speak to you soon. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.